basically. That's it. In the NL West, we've got the Dodgers with a 5.5 game lead over the Giants now. Giants schneiding a little bit. Dodgers surging, finally, slightly. And so the Dodgers are 74 and 57. They're a game worse. They're a half a game worse than the Cubs, and they're in first place in their division. you know, so the Giants at 69 and 63. Like I said, they're at 5 games out in their division. They're closer. They're more in contention in the division than they are in the wild card race at 6 games back. I find that interesting. I always do. And then out in the East, we've got your New York Mets, who are looking like they are going to hang on to this division and win it. They are 73 and 59. That will be in large part due to the inexplicable collapse of the Washington Nationals, who for the first half of the season had some of the best pitching you could ever see and some of the best young hitting that you could ever see, and it just seemed like it was inevitable that they were going to the playoffs again and that they would contend for a World Series spot. However, now at 66 and 65, 6.5 games out of first in their division, 7.5 games out of the second wild card spot. Unless the Nationals can get off of their schneid, their post All-Star game schneid. I just got somebody really sick, by the way. They should have been in the playoffs. And mathematically, yes, they still could be, especially when you're competing with the Mets. Don't put it past the Mets to collapse here in these last 4 or 5 weeks of the regular season. Very well within the realm of possibility that the Mets will collapse. But that's not to say it's likely. It's just within the realm of possibility. But you're going to need to see those two things. You're going to need to see the Mets collapse and the Nationals somehow get their mojo back. Crikey, we've lost our mojo. I think that's what happened to them, actually. They're victims of time travel mojo theft. Serious problem. So like I said, so your National League is looking like your Mets and Dodgers, Cardinals, Pirates, and Cubs. And then American League, you're looking at Royals, Yanks, Blue Jays, Astros, and then either the Rangers, Twins, or Angels. So that's your playoff picture. And a little bit of baseball news now that we're in September. The team's rosters are allowed to expand and increase by a few players. I want to say they go from like 23 to 26, something along those lines. 2 or 3 new spots can be added. You'll see a lot of arms in bullpens, primarily would be the additions there. But you'll see some position players as well. But so keep out on the lookout for that and your team and see if they do call anybody up that you've been waiting for, or bring anybody in. That brings me to my Minnesota Twins. The big name, the big talk, other than Miguel Sano, which that's been the case since he came on here now. But the big talk this week has been, I think his name's Jose. It might just be J.O. Barrios. He is a pitcher in our minor league system, and he's a stud, and he's ready. But we're not wanting to bring him up. Now, the ironic thing on that is, if we brought him up now that it's past September, I have been informed that it wouldn't count against him for arbitration or for, contract control years or control time as well. So really puzzling as to why they would not bring him up, considering that they don't have to clear or open a roster spot for him. Anytime you have to do that, then there is, reasonable understanding. But when you just had 2 or 3 free spots open up, and there's a pitcher who, is young and ready to go, and you're hoping that he's going to be one of your big contributors anyway, why not give him a shot here now? Give him an outing or two. If he falls on his face, you didn't lose anything from it. You can just go, okay, yeah, you know what, this ain't gonna work. We'll save you for next year, and it's not gonna crush his confidence or anything like that. And that, speaking of that, baseball, like everyone in the sport of baseball, in the prospect development field of baseball, everyone there, trainers and players, media members, fans, everyone, need to grow some balls, some Scotty balls, okay? This whole, well, we can't send him up, if he struggled, it would, we want to protect his confidence, we don't want him to lose his confidence. Are you kidding me? Seriously, what a bunch of wusses, So you're telling me that a guy cannot train to develop his skills to do something by actually doing that something? He needs to do that something in a more dumbed down, less real, less difficult, safer way for so long that, he feels invincible? Maybe that's the problem with a lot of this baseball development. Maybe a lot of these young baseball players, time after time, don't develop because they're not given the opportunity to learn on the major league level. You have to learn how to play at a major league level in the minor leagues. How can you learn how to do so? How can you learn to play at a major league level playing against minor league competition, against minor league talent, against minor league players? Does that make sense to anybody? Because it sure as heck doesn't make sense to me at all. I would think that the best way to train and prepare someone for something is to have them actually experience and encounter and deal with the actual thing that they're going up against. Yeah, you're young. You're a rookie. This is going to be a little tough for you to handle for a while. If you're batting, under 250 for the first 2 months or whatever, that's okay. The important thing is that you're figuring it out, okay? Is that there's progress, that your ability to hit a curveball or be selective in the pitches you're swinging at and things of that nature, if those things are improving and developing and growing, let's not worry about the numbers, okay? Let's worry about the skills that we're trying to develop, okay? And then when we feel that the skills are developed, then we will sit down and look at the production numbers and assess whether they acceptably meet our expectations or not. So again, everyone working with prospects and young guys in baseball, grow some freaking cojones, okay? These guys' confidence can handle some strikeouts. They can handle some groundouts, okay? What their confidence can't handle is their employers constantly saying, no, we don't want them to work in the big shop because they might not be able to handle it. So we're going to keep them down in the little kiddie shop where they can continue to, be awesome and be special and be great. I'm sorry, if you think that I'm off base, fine. You're totally entitled to that, and you may very well be right. But I think I'm right on the money here with this, and I think that's one of the reasons for so long that baseball has had a youth absence in its league. Is because of this horribly outdated, wrong way of thinking. If I was a professional baseball player, my confidence would be in better standing if the organization that employed me entrusted me with as much as they could, responsibility-wise and expectations-wise. Not going, well, we want you to do, we so desperately want you to do well that we're terrified of you failing. And it is the fear of your failure that we're going to use to make our decisions in regards to, how you're used, how you're developed, how you're handled, things like that. We got to fix this pro baseball, okay? So hopefully somebody out there's listening and takes it to heart, and we can implement that sometime in the near future. But getting a little more specific onto my Twins here before we get out of baseball, just some names I wanted to touch on quick on my Minnesota Twins. First off, the bullpen has been quite good. throughout the last couple weeks as we've been playing our way back into contention for that wild card. And it's not just any one person in the bullpen. Perkins being healthier is definitely helping. Jepsen, the trade for Jepsen coming in, he has been fantastic. Sano over at third is challenging for the AL Rookie of the Year. He will definitely get votes. He won't win it. The Correa guys had it locked up for quite a while because he's been playing pretty much the whole season. But Sano will get votes. Like, that's how impressive Sano has been. Buxton is back up on the team, still struggling offensively, but also finding ways to contribute to the team in winning efforts. Hicks is currently healthy again. I don't believe he's been called back up to the team yet. However, I wish they would and do it ASAP, because the sooner that they just put it out there and force people to see it and accept it, that's the only way it's ever going to happen. I've been talking about it for months now on this show. Twins outfield, now and moving forward for the years to come, needs to be Rosario, Buxton, and Hicks. Okay? You basically got 3 center fielders out there. Anybody hits a fly ball anywhere into the outfield, it is an out. Okay? So don't tell me that you're wasting good fielders by having, a center fielder in center and then another center fielder in right. No, an outfielder is an outfielder, okay? I played all the positions. An outfielder is an outfielder. Yes, there are little differences and nuances as far as, how you read the ball, the spin and angle that the ball is coming to you at off the bat. There are little nuances, subtle differences, but for all in all, an outfielder is an outfielder. An outfielder is not a center fielder specifically or a right fielder specifically. Well, some of them are right fielders specifically because they stink. But anyway, why do people have such a problem with this? Like, well, we can't have Hicks and Buxton. They're both center fielders. It's wasting a glove. We should get rid of one of them. No. Just have the ultimate defensive outfield. Okay? And then let those guys figure it out. As far as Hicks and Buxton at the plate. Hicks got a lot better at the plate. Buxton, he's still got a way to go. But he will get there. Be patient. Okay? Guys don't need to come up and put up all-star numbers from day one. All right? I would rather have my guys steadily grow and improve throughout the years and throughout their career, as opposed to being someone like a Joe Mauer, who peaks from day one and then, rapes your team of millions upon millions upon millions of dollars over the next decade, and his production drops off the face of the earth and he can't play anymore because he peaked way too early. He stopped getting better. He stopped learning. He just, nope, I'm as awesome as I'm going to be at age 24, and then everything's going downhill from there. I don't want that, so I'm okay with the young guys like Buxton and Hicks and Rosario putting up, acceptable numbers now, but not impressive numbers. They don't have to be impressive numbers. They just need to be... The only things that Hicks and Buxton and guys like that need to be worrying about is not doing things to cost your team the game. Okay? You don't need to be so worried and focused and caught up in making a play to win the game for your team. Not if you're one of those guys, okay? If you're Buxton, if you're Hicks, you just need to be not doing things to cost your team the game. That's it, okay? Focus on you and don't cost the team. That's it. Really simple, okay? Other Twins that I wanted to get mentioned in here real quick were, yes, Eddie the Stick Escobar. At shortstop, I said from freaking day one, if you go back on Spreaker, which I highly recommend, find this year's baseball preseason episode of Balls Deep Sports Talk on Spreaker. Go find it. Everyone's just listed right there at your fingertips. It'll take 10 seconds. You pull it up and you listen to it. From my preseason predictions, I was telling everybody, no Danny Santana. Escobar's got to be the shortstop. Like, I would love for Danny Santana to work out, but Escobar's your rock. He's the one that you can count on. He's not, I mean, he's not Derek Jeter or Cal Ripken Jr. Some, I mean, heck, I don't even know if he's